So I made a video a few days ago about Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, a promotion that brought back the kind of branding and name of a promotion that's been long forgotten and hasn't existed since 1984, Maple Leaf Wrestling. I want to talk about some of the other notable Phoenix organizations in pro wrestling, because MLPW is not alone. I think the biggest Phoenix organization in the world right now in pro wrestling is AJPW. Most people remember AJPW for the absolute bangers they had in the 90s and their historical rivalry with New Japan and everything. They were the other big company alongside New Japan before they fell off in the 2000s and got surpassed by Noah. Long story short is they basically went out of existence legally. The original All Japan that everyone knew and loved actually died in 2014 from a legal perspective and no longer existed, but Jun Akiyama was given the IPs and, the titles and stuff like that, so he was able to essentially start the company again in Yokohama. AJPW we know now is technically not the same company, although it continues its heritage. These days it serves more as a super indie in Japan. The Bushiroad umbrella of New Japan and Stardom and the Cyber Agent umbrella of Noah, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, DDT, and others are the major companies in Japan now. But considering all the trouble that All Japan went through in the 2000s, the fact that they're still around, still running shows, and still collaborating with bigger companies should be considered a victory for them. Speaking of super indies, two of the most influential promotions of that kind are also technically Phoenix organizations. GCW, or Game Changer Wrestling, was founded as Jersey City Wrestling in 1999. It went until 2004 and became inactive, as the company was sold. But when that company that they sold to fell through, the same guy that founded the original JCW, Riki Otazu, was able to repurchase the branding and restarted JCW in 2013. And about 2 years later, changed its name to Game Changer Wrestling that we know now. Since then, GCW has been a very influential indie promotion, serving as a significant middle ground between kind of the more obscure indies and the major TV companies. The company is known, sometimes controversially, for its hardcore wrestling and MMA inspiration. In a very similar vein, MLW is probably one of the biggest super indies out there. It's even had some forays into TV broadcasting, but at this moment is not quite at the level of, the big three American promotions. It's created a solid foothold for itself, again, as a good middle ground for talent. And they've done and do some pretty high profile collaborations with the likes of New Japan, for example. Founded in Philadelphia, but moving its base of operations to a bunch of different places throughout its history, MLW was born out of the passionate Philadelphia wrestling scene in which the legendary ECW thrived. And they were founded around the same time as another notable Philadelphia-founded promotion, Ring of Honor. But Ring of Honor was a lot more successful in those early years, as MLW actually closed its doors in 2004 and became more of a news and podcast network rather than a promotion. Technically, it's always kind of existed, but as a wrestling promotion, actually putting on physical shows, they didn't do anything between 2004 and 2017 when they were revived. And some pretty notable talent have passed through MLW's doors. Just going off the list of world champions alone, first champion was Shane Douglas. Guys like Mike Awesome, Satoshi Kojima, Swerve Strickland, Low Key, Jacob Fatu. They've only had a women's world championship since 2021, but its inaugural champion was Taya Valkyrie. Its current champion is Shoko Nakajima. So MLW is a considerable promotion. And